Several years ago I remastered Linux for a variety of uses. I did a couple of versions for education and a couple of versions for the hospitality trade. They're both based on a fully featured OS and a kiosk OS, and they follow the naming scheme of, for example, school machine kiosk and school machine, hospitality machine and hospitality machine kiosk. The kiosk versions of both of those will be a locked down desktop. So if you had a nightclub or a pub or an internet cafe and you wanted to run computers for your clients, you'd use hospitality machine kiosk. If you wanted to run a classroom internet cafe and you wanted students to do stuff on the web but not risk messing things up, you'd use school machine kiosk. Hospitality machine, not the kiosk version, was a fully featured OS with all the applications a venue manager could possibly want. Similarly, school machine was a version for students and with all the applications they could possibly want. So there's some overlap between the two, but they were significantly different to warrant their own versions. Whilst doing those four versions, I learned enough about Linux to come up with a fifth unofficial version for me. This was a recovery distro called Recovery Machine. It's unofficial, but I did make it available for download, and it had stuff for rescuing data off of failing hard drives. You could browse networks, you could see what's going on with broken hard drives, run diagnostic stuff. You could do those sort of tasks typically needed by the administrator, and I put it all onto a downloadable version for USB sticks, and I've got it on here. This is what I use quite a lot for machines that are dying a death. I'm going to show it to you running on this Dell Mini netbook. There we go. This is one of several remastered Linux distributions from the machine and machine kiosk ranges, which is down to me. It's based on PCLinuxOS, which is in turn based on PCLinuxOS. And PCLinuxOS is a fantastic version of Linux. I like it a lot. I use it on my desktop. If I have a host OS on a desktop, not a virtual machine, and it's a desktop, not a netbook, it will be PCLinuxOS. Indeed, it's on my main machine. So for those PC users who want to dabble in Linux, Ubuntu is good, but for me, PCLinuxOS is better. Yeah, it even has a very unofficial name. Welcome to Paul's Test Recovery CD version 0.01. Yep, that's a desktop. Dull, boring, until you do a right click on the mouse button, and then suddenly on applications there's a whole load of stuff, stuff that I use. You got the browser should you need it, and a few elementary things like word processing. But the interesting stuff for rescuing data off broken PCs and doing benchmarking stuff is here. You've got system information, loads of stuff in partitioning, loads of stuff in hard disk. You can erase data securely. There's a proper file manager with root access, monitoring, terminals, networking. I mean, I've browsed lots of Windows networks using this. So yes, looks boring, looks dull, actually very powerful for rescuing data and doing diagnostic stuff on all sorts of machines. I'm not going to install it, but I thought I'd show it to you. Shut up, cat.